Hello, this video is about my English language learner interview that I conducted with a 57-year-old man from Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. The pseudonym that I gave him was Antonio. Antonio is a father of 5 children, ages 14 to 29, all of which reside in the Corvallis area. He is kind of a jack of all trades man here in the Philomath area. Lives not too far from us, and I've gotten to know him over the past few months. He grew up in Mexico and immigrated to the United States in 1980, settling in East LA with his cousins. He spoke of arriving in the Los Angeles area and not feeling a real desire to learn English, nor seeing the need initially when he arrived, because the family that he lived with, his cousins, all spoke Spanish, and the area where he lived, Spanish was very, very prevalent. It wasn't until he went to a social gathering with his cousins and someone that he wanted to meet there didn't speak Spanish, and she happened to be a beautiful young woman, that inspired him to take night classes and learn English. Additionally, he talked about his education in Mexico when I questioned about his early education. In Guadalajara, he attended English classes in 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. Not that he was desirous or felt the importance or need to learn English, but his parents did encourage him to learn English because that was a really important thing for him to acquire that second language. It wasn't until he became proficient in English that he realized how little his English teachers in Mexico really understood about the language and the extent of the poor instruction he received in the English language while he was there. His first reaction as a youth learning English was how difficult it was. The way the words were written was not at all how they were pronounced, and so speaking English was extremely difficult, and spelling it even more of an obstacle. That was very clear during our interview process. When he came to the United States, his first experience in learning English was a night class that he took at a community college, and it was all about learning conversational English. And he took that night class for several years in the process of learning English and working here in the States at the same time. Language loss. I thought it was interesting when I talked to him about his children and if they spoke Spanish and the importance of the Spanish language. He said, this is a quote from what he said, he said, "At home we speak Spanish. It is our culture. It is who we are." I think it's interesting that he equated the language that he speaks with the person that he is and his culture. So that language-culture connection is very alive in this, what Antonio had to share in regards to speaking Spanish. He definitely connected his home language with his own and his family's cultural identity. I thought that was very, very important. When I asked him about why he felt it was important to learn English, he was really surprised. He said, "When I learned English, I was finally able to express myself and my beliefs and my abilities. I felt as if I'd accomplished something of great worth, that I was finally a part of the community here in the United States." And he said, "Although English gives me power to live here, Mexico will always be my homeland." So although he's learned English and feels comfortable with the language now, he's very much connected to Mexico and his homeland and his home culture, and has kept that, notwithstanding the fact that he has been here for more than 30 years. When I asked about prejudice or other discrimination or racism that he's faced during his time here in the United States, he mentioned that the people, his family, are all Spanish speaking, so his interaction with them was not much different. Where he noticed discrimination or racism is when he went to the larger retail stores, or when he went to the grocery store, someplace where maybe someone wasn't able to speak Spanish. He said sometimes I would wait in line to be waited on, and it was like I was almost invisible. People would look past me and not at me. And so initially, when I wasn't as fluent in English and I felt already insecure in my language abilities, being almost invisible to people that were approaching me was frustrating to him. And it was a sense, sometimes I would just leave, because rather than face them and try to speak English in my broken language, I would just leave and find somewhere else to shop or somewhere else to go. It was very frustrating. He didn't. I could see the frustration in his voice and see it in his face as he discussed those times of frustration. But in the same instance, I could see the pride in his demeanor as he described being able to converse in English and being bilingual, and how important that was, keeping those two languages and having those two languages, and the power that discourse and being able to communicate in English effectively has given him in living here. It was just really important and interesting to see. What are some other things that were important? I think that Antonio really brought to mind the fact that language really is power, that it gives people the power to effectively communicate with each other and not only express their needs, but form relationships and bonds that without that ability would not be possible. I think the self-esteem issue was something else that I think he mentioned. The interview was conducted in Spanish, so that was kind of fun. But my notes, he talked a lot about becoming empowered and how the English language gave him a sense of confidence in himself and his abilities, that he felt just as if he was more after having successfully accomplished the goal of learning English, and how the English language had opened doors economically, socially, and to so many new things in his life, and how important that was for him, and how much he appreciates that his children are all now bilingual and have those same abilities that both languages afford them in life. And I thought that was really powerful. I think that overall, the interview brought to mind that Antonio came here because he wanted a better life. He understands the importance of education. He understands the importance of hard work and dedication. He wants to be able to communicate not only in his native tongue of Spanish with people he knows, but also in English as well, because he feels the importance of community and the importance of interacting with people of various cultures and various language abilities. I absolutely respect him for the hard work that he has put forth in his time here, for his fluency in English, as well as the fact that he has kept his native language and identifies himself as a Mexican living in the United States and wanting to incorporate our culture and the culture of our English language along with his native Spanish language into his life, becoming truly bilingual and bicultural. It was a wonderful conversation. I learned an immense amount from him, and I'm thankful for the opportunity I had to do that.